Hi everyone, Lisa here with Down to Earth Gardening and Design, and welcome to our channel if you're new, and if you're returning, thank you so much for joining again. So I'm here in Planting Hardiness Zone 10A, and I'm so excited today because I have been on the waiting list for at least 8 months for this old rose here. So it's a bit of a plant spotlight, but I'm also going to be planting it today. So we're first going to talk about why it's so great, why I've been on the waiting list, and then a little bit about it, and then how to plant it here in the garden. Okay, so first I should tell you its name, and it is Louis Philippe. So it has been around for a very long time, and some of you may also know it as a cracker rose or the cracker rose. So that's its nickname. So typically you will find me gardening in Connecticut. So I'm in zone 6B in Connecticut, but we do spend some time, we have some grandkids in Florida. So we have a little home with some little gardens here, and I have been really excited to plant a rose down here. However, it's pretty tough because we have some intensely hot summers. So I did a lot of research on what would be a low maintenance rose, because even when I'm up north, you hear me talk about how important it is to find things that you'll be successful with that won't require a lot of maintenance, a lot of pesticide, a lot of attention, so we can do lots of other gardening tasks and enjoy it. So this here again is Louis Philippe, and it is perfect for planting hardiness zones 7 through 11. So I'm here in Southwest Florida, so super hot in the summer, not really the best climate for roses, but this one here is said to be one of the top roses here for this area. So it gets to be about 3 to 4 feet tall. Some say it can be a taller shrub rose, or it can have a bit of a climbing habit, and it can get just as wide, so 3 to 4 feet wide. Now of course you can control it with pruning, but you really should try to give it a little bit of room to do its thing, because again, we're all about lower maintenance, so we don't want to be out here fighting the size of it. So plant it in a sunny spot. So I would say about 5 hours of sun is appropriate for this rose. If you have a southeastern or eastern exposure spot in your garden for it, that would be perfect, because it will need a little bit of partial shade or filtered shade when it gets really hot in the summer. But it's going to flower best when it has its full sun. So the flowers on it are a beautiful crimson red. They are about 2 inches in diameter, and they are a double flower, and they are very fragrant. They have that old rose fragrance. So when you're thinking about where to put it, you may want to consider putting it by a window, so you can open up your window and smell that lovely scent, or around your deck or patio. So I've picked a spot here in my garden. We have southeastern exposure on that side of the house. This side here gets some nice morning sun. I think it'll be perfect. We have a lanai here. We love to open the windows, and also a brand new patio that we're hoping to sit on. So this will be beautiful and fragrant to enjoy in this spot here. So something else about the Louis Philippe rose is that it's considered low maintenance. So once it gets established, it doesn't require a ton of water, and also it doesn't require a lot of pesticides, because it is resistant, or so it said, to black spot fungal diseases, which are pretty common with some of those higher maintenance roses. So I'm all about this and very excited to get it going in my garden. So we already talked a little bit about where we're planting it. So again, it is outside of my lanai, and it gets some nice morning sun. But as far as soil goes, it does prefer mildly acidic soil and well draining soil. So my soil here is pretty well draining. There's a lot of sand in it. In fact, because I want a little bit of fertility, I'm going to be adding some of my very own compost. So you can see here, this is in pretty good shape. You can see there's some eggshells in here that haven't quite broken down. But I'm going to mix this in the planting hole here. So I have a spot here where I have some rocks. I've already pulled them away, and then I have some landscape fabric. So I will tell you, the only spot that I will put landscape fabric is under stones. So I really despise landscape fabric, and I really do not like to put it in my garden. So what we're going to have to do here is we're going to have to cut away a piece of this fabric here. Okay, ideally, it would be great if you could dig your hole about twice the size of the container. So my hole is going to be a little bit smaller, but it's going to be big enough where I can amend it here with some nice compost. So I'm going to be working with 2 of my garden trug buckets, and that's because I do not want to mix the soil with the stones, because that's going to encourage lots of weeds in the stones, and it will defeat the whole purpose of having them. So you can see that this soil here is actually pretty nice quality. Okay, so I have the hole dug, and I'm just going to slide the pot in just to make sure it fits. So I have a little bit of room all around it where I can do some amending. We're just going to carefully slide it out of the pot here. And I'm just going to tease the bottom apart a little bit just to give it an edge here. And then settle it in. So I am about a foot away from the foundation too, which is where I really want it to be. And then I'm just going to mix the old soil, which is actually pretty nice, with some of the fresh compost. And I've got my soil scoop here. It's another one of my favorite tools. We will put some of the links up for you in the description in case you're interested in any of my favorite products that I like to use. So I'm not going to be pulling the stones back around the base of the rose. I am instead going to get a little bit of mulch, and I'm just going to mulch basically around the drip line of the rose. Now for aftercare, it's pretty minimal. So until your rose gets established, you do want to make sure that you keep it watered. So I'm just gonna check on my rose daily and give it a drink. I might run one of our drip irrigation little spigots over here just to make sure it gets watered daily. It's been pretty dry. And then I'm gonna taper off a little bit. So as far as flowering, it is a rebloomer. So the blooms themselves do not last that long. However, it will keep cranking out some blooms. It's a repeat bloomer, and it should bloom right straight through summer into fall. So you can go ahead and deadhead it, and that will encourage some new blooms. And when you're going to be pruning it, you just want to know that it does flower on new wood. So that's about it, folks. It will require a little bit of fertilizer, but I'm going to refrain from doing that because I put some nice compost in there, and I'm going to see how it does because I'd rather not overdo it. That's it. I'm going to enjoy my rose. And again, thank you for joining me. I appreciate all of you at home. If you liked our video, go ahead and give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel because we have so many more gardening videos coming your way.